Hi there, Martingale here. Chinese words. Native pronunciation versus foreign pronunciation. Mandarin version. First one up is this word. Kung Fu. And the native pronunciation would be Kung Fu. The difference is it's just their version of how they spell it versus the version of how us, our native speakers, say it or spell it. And they almost sound just alike, but you can see how close the foreign version is to the native-like version. We just adapted it into our own kind of word, own terminology for the types of movies that we like watching from those Chinese-speaking countries. Yeah, basically. And so, Kung Fu. Coming in second place would be yin and yang. And they would say yin and yang. Two-sided circle or dot. Yin and yang. So yin is basically yang is evil twin. The yin yang twins. I'm just joking. Just kidding. So basically, it's the same thing within astrology. The positive side is male, while the negative side is female. This other martial art technique called Tai Chi, which is spelled slightly different from the native pinyin spelling, which would be this. Tai Chi Chuan. And we have Tai Chi. And so we just shorten it, I guess, because it just sounds better as Tai Chi, but we wouldn't say Tai Chi Chuan or Tai Chi Chuan. Like with Taekwondo, see, it makes sense. Taekwondo, not Taekwon. Taekwon probably could have worked too, but like Taekwondo, it sounds just as good. Original Korean martial art practice. So, Tai Chi Chuan. Tai Chi. Now onto these specific Chinese terms or titles that are used within specific TV shows for a special title for someone or special items. The first one that comes to mind would be, it basically is the master, the grand master, kung fu master or martial arts master. And so foreign pronunciation would be Shifu, but actual pronunciation would be Shifu. Shifu and Shifu. And so you would hear these two TV shows, one of them being Kung Fu Panda, The Legends of Awesomeness. And you will hear the Dragon Warrior, Po, saying to his master, Master Shifu. And then possibly, I'm thinking within Miraculous Ladybug, I possibly might have heard either Marinette, the Ladybug character, or Adrian, the Cat Noir character, saying to their master, Master Shifu. Well, I'm not sure. I'm thinking they might have said Master Shifu when they met one of the guardians of the Miraculouses. The next one would be Tezwanzi, basically a title And this comes from Adventures of Juniper Lee. And I don't think there's any actual, Chinese spelling for this. Like how Sheldon comes up with the phrase bazinga, his own unique phrase. So the native pronunciation would be like this. But I wouldn't know the tones because once again, there's no such word for this in Chinese, I don't think. I could be wrong, but if I have this, let me know in the comments. And so the main character, Juniper Lee, was trying to become the Tezwanzi, similar to how Naruto was trying to become the Hokage. And then the second one would be Shenggong Wu. This is basically an
Shaolin Showdown.
I'd be pronounced as Shenggong Wu. It'd be like similar to how we spell the names of one of the cities in China, like S-H-A-N-G, G-O-N-G-W-U. But it's not. It's spelled as S-H-E-N-G-O-N-G-W-U. And in terms of the native pronunciation, that would have been Shun and Gongwu, Shun Gongwu. But it would have been Shun instead of Shang. But saying Shang, it'd be like S-H-A-N-G. And speaking of that, I'm going to go right into the names of the two big main cities in China. The spelling is exactly the same, but both are pretty close within the pronunciation, I think. But first one coming in would be, seeing that I've already gave it away, it would be, we call it Shanghai. But the actual pronunciation would be
Shanghai.
So Shanghai.
Shanghai.
And for the capital, Beijing. We call it Beijing, but of course Beijing, and then native pronunciation, Beijing. So pretty close, but just, native Chinese touch to it and our regular non-native touch to it. And so that's how that goes. But, it used to be called Peking. And for the two most famous Chinese names that I know of, Wang, Wang. So we would refer to them as Mr. Wang or Wang Xinshan. Basically much the same in terms of pronunciation, but, native-like pronunciation with the tones. But, foreign pronunciation, no tones, maybe intonation. And the next one would be Mrs. Lee. And then the native-like pronunciations, Lee. So Mrs. Lee or Li Xiaojie. Or someone who's married, they would say Li Tai Tai. So they have it. They come in pretty close to these two surnames, as we call it, Wang and Li. And let's see, what else? And the famous Tiananmen Square. That's the word Tiananmen. The spelling would be pretty much the same, identical to the pinyin spelling for this place in China. Tiananmen. So you say Tiananmen, the Chinese pronunciation would be Tiananmen. It's the same spelling, but our version without the tones and the native version tones. Nothing but tones. Next one that we know of, specifically with vegetarians. I used to be a vegetarian, and sometimes I am, because from time to time I'll choose to eat nothing but
a plant-based diet.
And we're definitely familiar with this one, tofu. So we put our own spin on the word tofu. Wouldn't make sense to say tofu, but native-like pronunciation would be
Tofu.
and while we say tofu, I don't know if this word is of Mandarin or Cantonese origin. And for the last one being coming from the Disney movie called Mulan. And as you know, they finally made a live-action version of this popular Disney movie. And I still haven't seen the updated version yet, but so it's slightly different. Basically, we take out one part, one component from the original Chinese, and so our version is Mulan, while they would say Hua Mulan. So Mulan versus Hua Mulan. And so that's a slight difference between that. And so with the Mandarin Chinese version, they just add in the Hua in front of Mulan. And that is it for all the words of Chinese origin. Mandarin edition, native-like pronunciation versus foreign pronunciation. For y'all native Chinese speakers that were listening, or for those who are really quite comfortable in the language, who are non-native speakers, let me know how I did with the native-like pronunciation. So let me know in the comments how I did. Thank y'all so much for watching this video. And don't forget to subscribe and like this video. Stay tuned for some more language videos. And this is Martingle, once again, signing off. Cheers. Later, everyone.